Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Miss Marvel Episode 1. I forgot what the title is. I should have done my research, but whatever. Yes, this is my spoiler review. I'm going to talk about what I thought of this series. I love the MCU, and this show right now is no exception. Episode 1 was really enjoyable. Look, I'm not familiar with obviously a lot of stories from other people with different backgrounds. So it's always nice to get something new and refreshing that's not just about the white guy. I'm a white guy. And look, it's sometimes it's great when something new comes around to gives us a new perspective on the world because guess what? We all go through lives differently. And this show is very different from other Marvel shows. Not too different. There's still some familiar Marvel tones in there. Like I would say out of all the MCU projects, this is probably more relatable to Spider-Man than anything else, but I think it takes the John Hughes tone to a whole new level. Like it really goes John Hughes in this show. I really do like the animation bubbles that they show once in a while to show what she's thinking or what she's planning or something like that. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think Kamala Khan is already a great character. I am loving her so much, played by Iman Vellani, who is from Toronto, by the way, Canadian, so that gives her extra points from me because I'm always excited to see Canadian get representing my hometown, and not just my hometown, my home country. So when I see actors like Ryan Reynolds or Kobe Smulders, or more recently actually Simu Liu, who played Shang-Chi, it's really cool, especially in the MCU. So she's the second Canadian from Toronto in an MCU project, which I think is awesome. Um, I am loving Kamala's family. I love the father, the mother, and her brother. I think they're really fun characters to be around, and you already feel those emotional moments too, like when they wanted her. Okay, we're gonna let you go to this convention, this Avengers convention, and how she turned them down because she didn't like the Hulk costume that they wanted her to wear because it was a little embarrassing looking. But she's like, no, you make me embarrassed or something like that. And you could see the hurt in their faces. And even I was like, even though I was at first on her side, after seeing the look on their faces, I was like, oh, come on. It made me feel bad for the parents. And I'm like, okay, they had good intentions at least. But yeah, I mean, she's a what, 16, 17-year-old girl? 16, I'm gonna guess, 15, somewhere around there. So kind of relate to her in that sense. I mean, I've been at places in my past where I was a little ashamed of my parents doing crazy funny things or suggesting weird things that I didn't agree with. So it's like, yeah, right there you already agree, you already connect to this character, and you've been there, done that. Even the way some parents don't agree with, like, they don't get your life that you're, or your interests that you're interested in, and so there's already a connection there. Like, if people say they're not relating to this character, I don't get it. There's always things with everybody that I think we can all find something we can connect to and understand and sympathize with. And I totally got this character. She's a nerd. She's like us. If you are a nerd, you should get this character. This character is a nerd with us. And Iman Vellani is a nerd in real life too. So if you hear her in interviews, she goes on to say how she was a fan from the MCU for a long time already. And so to know that she is a fan actually living the dream and being in this universe, like, you feel that with that character. She's like embodying that, what she's supposed to be playing, because the character herself is a huge Captain Marvel fan. Captain Marvel, maybe not my favorite MCU character, but I see the appeal for young women there as a character who could be inspiring to other uh, women out there. For me, Thor is my favorite. So if I was in Kamala Khan, I'd be dressing up as Thor and putting the hammer up and everything. I still want to buy a Thor hammer, but I want to buy a good one, not one of those plastic ones. But I want to find it for a reasonable price. So I'm still looking. With that being said, I think her friend Bruno is really good. I think he's a really enjoyable character. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom Holland, a little bit. He has that nerdy quality, but he's very smart too. So yeah, Bruno, really cool character. Yeah, I'm loving it. I really thought it was cool when she put the bracelet on and she gained powers. I thought that was pretty cool. We just got a taste of it, but it was really nice. I'm curious about the Zoe character. Is she going to play a bigger role going down the road in these next 5 episodes? I think it's great. I had a really fun time watching this, and I was surprised because I had heard, oh, this might be Marvel's first series going towards a younger audience, and I'm like, I watched it, and I'm like, I don't see this any different from Spider Man. From the Tom Holland Spider Man movies. I think if you like the Tom Holland Spider Man movies, then you should really enjoy this show because I feel like it's similar in tone. They just go full John Hughes, where Spider Man didn't really go. Spider Man went pretty far into the John Hughes territory. If you watch Homecoming and Far From Home, I think it did. They did feel like that. I think it was No Way Home that decided to be more Spider-Man than John Hughes. So yeah, I can't see how people could hate this show unless I'm not gonna bring that up, but I just can't see how people could hate this show. I just think it's really nice. It's really heartwarming, and it's really enjoyable. It's funny. So. And this is only 1 episode. Apparently, critics got to see 2 episodes. I can't wait for next week's episode. I'm really loving it. So MCU hasn't disappointed me yet. What will be that first MCU project that's gonna make me feel, oh, I hate this, but I don't know, and I don't care, and I hope it never happens. Kevin Feige, he probably watches my videos and says, "What does David like? He's liking this good. As long as David is loving what he's seeing, we know we got him." So I will bow down to Kevin Feige's feet and kiss them if he wants me to. Kevin Feige is a genius, and I think the teams that he puts together for these projects are great. Are doing a fantastic job. So there you go. I have no complaints about this episode. By the way, make sure you watch the end credit scene. It's a really cool connection that ties back into Spider-Man No Way Home. By the way, I'm just gonna say it. It's the D. I think it's the DODC, which stands for the Department of Damage Control. We've seen them in Spider-Man Homecoming, and we saw them in Spider-Man No Way Home. The guy in charge in Spider-Man No Way Home, he was the guy that was interrogating MJ and Peter and Ned and Aunt May. He was the guy interrogating them. He shows up in the end credit scene. So there's your Spider-Man connection already, which it's funny because I was going throughout this entire episode, oh man, we need to have Spider-Man and Miss Marvel team up somehow. I don't know if it's going to happen in this show or in a future movie. We do know that there's one more movie deal left with Sony and Marvel. I hope they manage to get these two in a movie or a show together. I don't know where and I don't know how, but I want that to happen. With that being said, tell me your thoughts, guys. What did you think of the first episode of Miss Marvel? Were you impressed? Were you disappointed? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that being said, until next time, take care.